of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Rose.
Here.
Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Alderman Barella. Alderman Collins. Mayor Hermanson.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum. We have 2 items of business, 1 new business item, motion to direct staff on the Osage Beach Road diet options. I'm going to turn this over to our Public Works Director, Jeff Fisher, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. We'll just start back to the beginning. The Safe Streets for All grant application included a demonstration project that was a bike trail on OB Parkway between Nichols and KK, I think. Is that right, Devin?
I think that's right.
And so Devin and I have been working through this this grant and this study with Wilson Engineering and FHWA, and we questioned whether or not that was really what the community wanted and whether or not it was best application of a bike trail. But we were working through it, but an idea was born out of that maybe because that stretch from Jeffries to KK, is it? Yeah, is 5 lanes. It's a big asset. So as your Public Works Director, I'm thinking you got very little traffic on 5-lane road that used to be really busy. And so it's costing a lot of money for how much value is the community getting out of it. So I just suggested, Devin, maybe we need to look at this a little bit differently. And so that's where this was born from. It just so happens, though, it sort of requires a decision pretty quickly because, as you know, we're getting ready to resurface and stripe OB Parkway. I'm indifferent whether or not we stay with what's there or stripe it differently, but I think it warranted some discussion, at least to give you an opportunity to weigh in on it. That's how Devin felt, I believe. So since Thursday, we did have a steering committee meeting for the SS4A initiative, and it did sound like it was appealing to them. They did suggest that we call a few of the key business owners along that stretch, and Kerry Patterson helped me. He was helping me get in contact with them. He did hear from one of them today. He had a conversation with them. It didn't sound like they were very excited about it. So there's not a lot of time for public engagement. I wish that was different, but it's kind of the situation we're in. Once we seal the road, though, you're at least 6 years before you can restripe, or you're spending a lot of money again. So that's sort of the dilemma at hand. So you have those options in front of you, those concepts. One is to have, I'll call it multi-purpose lanes, but I think it's called bike lanes on the exhibit, 1 on each side, and then you'd have 2 lanes with what I call a suicide lane in the middle, and then the other option is to just put it all on one side of the street.
Mayor, can I add something?
Yes, please do.
I want to add, Chief and I had a conversation about this afterwards, just from a practicality enforcement standpoint. I know there were some questions from the board about golf carts, other, UTVs, that kind of thing. From a signage enforcement, non-confusion standpoint, we both agree that if you're trying to put golf cart, motorized and non-motorized traffic together is, frankly, I'm not sure we can do it legally. And even if we can, Chief had some real safety concerns about putting a golf cart up against a bicycle, for instance, or especially a UTV up against a bike. So we had, well, the striping consideration and the cost is one thing. I don't really see how we effectively mark anything other than just a straight bike lane, because to try to mix motorized, non-motorized in that space seems really I have enforcement concerns about how you sign that, if you have two different speed limits, for instance, or certain vehicles are allowed in the right lane, but every vehicle is allowed in the left lane or something along those lines. And I know Chief had some practical safety concerns as well, but I just wanted to add those that, I know those were kind of thrown around, but I just wanted to say that I don't think we can do mixed motorized and non-motorized in a lane.
Alderman Ruck, oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Ruck, did you have something?
Well,
You had raised your hand first, I just didn't notice. The
yeah, he's
Chief?
got something to, let him speak, he could hear
Oh, yeah.
something on
All
the
right, Chief, do you have something?
I just from experience on some regular bike trails, when you have bikers and pedestrians even on it, and the cyclists are coming up behind pedestrians, they don't know they're there. And then you would have the same thing with a golf cart coming up behind a bicycle or a pedestrian possibly. I don't think it's a good mix. I think we're just asking for accidents to happen. And then as far as the striping goes, and I think with the amount of traffic that we could be seeing coming off of Jeffries Road, coming back, because you have to come west on the Parkway to enter to go get back on the highway to go west if you're wanting to go toward Campton or anything like that. I think we're going to see an increase in traffic come the next year and a half, 2 years, once the Oasis opens. And I'd hate to see us do this, and then all of a sudden we realize we need all 5 lanes again, and then we have to restripe it or wait 6 years to do it. That's just my input. But
Alderman Ruck?
Well, I was the one that spoke up first when this came out and said, hey, we didn't get a chance to vote on this. I'm kind of leaning towards in favor of option 1. But I also didn't realize we were looking at pulling the trigger now. I assumed we were still doing what the game plan was that we talked about over a year ago. And that was that, we were going to be going through this SAFER Act. And one of the things was a possibility of some bike facilities over here. And I didn't know that, I thought this was giving them an idea that if we do something like that, this might be the way we would want to lean towards it. And that we were going to have public meetings on this. And again, my little brain was that we were going to be doing some, there was a way they could do some temporary striping that we could see how that would work. That was where I thought we were all going. I didn't now realize, of course, we also weren't going to be doing the Parkway until 27, and instead of now, or 26, maybe 27. And so that was kind of fitting into the mix. And now we're doing the Parkway now, and obviously we're going to have to stripe it. I'd like to get some more public input. Jeff, so we stripe it the way it is now. And they come in with what I thought they were going to do and come up with some temporary way that they could put a bike thing in there to do a trial for 6 months or something like that. We decide we want to go to a striping like this. What are we talking cost? What are we talking cost to come in and completely restripe it?
Right now, before we stripe it?
No, afterwards.
Well, yeah, you'd have to grind it off, and then, so you're looking at treating it again, too.
Okay,
So,
how much?
for that leg, it's probably gonna be $500,000.
$500,000 to stripe it?
Well, because you gotta put a new surface on it. Otherwise, you're gonna have bare spots, bare stripes where you don't have, where you once had yellow, or now you don't, right? I gotta grind those off.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're all in one way or another, yeah, whichever you decide, for 6 years, yeah.
Alderman Hoffman?
Just two things. I was all for, the study and trying to, let's try to be receptive to having bikes in the future. I think going this far and creating 2 bike lanes all the way from KK to Jeffries, especially with Oasis coming in, I can't get behind that. I think we need to build our roads the right way, and in the future, if there's enough bike interest, then maybe we jump off that bridge.
Anybody else over there? I see you're wanting to talk, Alderman Morales.
I know, Mr.
Kerry Patterson, yes. Yes.
And it's just, following up on what Alderman Hoffman, and I'm sorry that I was late, but I was on the phone with a citizen. It's not just the Oasis, it's everything that happens because of the Oasis. And currently, we have somewhere to the tune of 16 properties that are plus 1 acre properties along the expressway or along the parkway that are going to develop in the near future based on the activity that they're going to see on Jeffries Road. We have made, and I mentioned this at the last meeting, this was something that we have worked towards for years, trying to get more traffic out on the parkway, using the entire parkway, putting more vehicles in front of our businesses, and having the, all of the escape traffic come from the Oasis, the hotels, and whatever else ends up happening on the Calfran property and, the Brooks properties and the Hamptons property on Jeffries, along with whatever develops along the way. We're talking about the possibility of a more than substantial amount of traffic going on to Osage Beach Parkway from Jeffries to Case at minimum, but the hope is that they'll go past Case Road too, and continue down to Arby's and Culver's and whatever goes in after that, Wicked Willie's, and they use our services and our convenience on their way out of town. Knowing those things are coming, and, Alderman Rucker's probably the only one who's been here long enough to remember when we took Osage Beach Parkway, but MoDOT said at that time that they felt that there was a 15 to 25 year grace period before all of the existing Osage Beach Parkway was already back, to capacity levels at that time. And while we didn't see a lot on the west side coming up to now we're seeing it. So, and it's not just the Oasis and what's on Jeffries Road. It's also, what's on Nichols Road and what's going to continue down Nichols Road. Their service area is going to be the west side of the parkway. So we're looking at a substantial amount of development-caused traffic on the parkway where I think it would be a mistake right now to make such tactical changes to, what we would have on the parkway. So.
So, Carrie, are you saying that you think it'd be a mistake to make allowances for a bike lane? Is that what you're saying?
I think it would be a mistake to have the allowances for two, and what I saw on some of those things that we looked at on Thursday, yes.
It's probably worth, for all those reasons, the bike lane that was conceptualized in the grant application would be a protected bike lane. Am I right, Devin?
I think it had delineators.
What? So
I think it had delineators, the yellow poles.
So you have to squeeze lanes, move lanes over to accommodate that. So it does eat up space. So it's a real commitment to go to a bike lane. And so I think, in effect, tonight you're also deciding for or against the bike lane. So I just want to caution against that, because even if conceptually you kind of like the idea of a bike lane, it's a commitment, and you're going to lose space, your driving space, right? Some cities have used what they call sharrows, and Missouri bikers are allowed to use the drive lanes anyway, right? But some communities will put sharrows in those right-hand lanes to sort of remind drivers that bikers can use that space. It's awareness kind of thing. Not a huge fan of it, but I'm not totally against it either. It can be something we could consider. And while we're striping this corridor, we could do that.
What's it called? Share what?
Sharrow.
Shared lane.
It's called a sharrow, and it just
Where they have
indicates.
about a 3-foot spot on the side of the lane?
It's a white painted arrow with a biker thing on it. And it just reminds drivers that, bikes could be,
Is it about 3 feet? About 3 feet?
yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Isn't there one where there's only one lane for the bikes rather than one on each side?
Just put it in the outside
Yeah.
lane.
Okay.
That's kind of the vision I thought, and thought there'd be a lot of dialogue around it, and I don't want to vote to change this without the input of the public and I don't have enough knowledge about these other things that I was wanting to ask questions about, whether it's a smaller lane or, you know, can we go to 4 traffic lanes, or, I mean, there's just a lot of, and to make the commitment with what we've got going in, I can't support
and
that
there's
now.
some-
I gotta have more public input.
Yeah, there's some practical implications too, just as enforcement has. You know, you gotta think about plowing, a protected bike lane. I can tell you that's a little bit problematic for operations. I've seen it in other cities. So it's a big deal. It seems small, but it's a big deal.
Alderman Hoffman.
I'll just say this, there was a lot of this in Atlanta when I lived down there, and everything they were doing, like building a big greenway, their greenway down there is fantastic. And it connects the whole city, really. And they did have some of those shared lanes, and they only put those in because the bike traffic was so dangerous to have on the road. They were doing everything they could do to get the bikes off the roads. And there's a huge bike community down there, but it's unsafe. So for us to come, and I didn't see a single town in that area commit 2 full lanes of traffic to bikes. So I just think we need, you know, we're at a good opportunity right now. We're lucky to have this great 5-lane road going through Osage Beach. Now all this development is coming. I don't think we want to screw up a really good asset we have.
It's probably worth also, Devin, I don't know, mentioning the demonstration project was a bike lane. So we would have to amend that application, am I right? Yeah. And pick another demonstration project in the city limits.
Alderman Rose.
I totally concur, Alderman Hoffman, and also, I can't see any way how we could allow any golf carts whatsoever. First of all, they have to come off those lake roads, and what are they gonna do, drive on the regular road? I mean, it's just totally ridiculous to me, and I know a lot of people that have golf carts would say, hey, why can't we just go down to the parkway? Well, how are you gonna get there? You're just gonna go in the regular traffic on Nichols or, you know, KK? You can't do that. So I think that's out of the question for sure.
Alderman
You
Osteen.
keep looking at me. I did not have a definitive stance on this. That's why I'm not commenting very much. I was waiting to see what the other board members' opinions were or what direction they thought this should go.
All right.
But a motion, I think,
Well,
what, I know it was said discussion, is that enough?
I think right now we have, you just need direction, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds to me like the direction is not to do the bike lanes.
Guys,
Please.
if the direction of the board is to leave it the way it is, I think the motion would be to direct staff to proceed with restriping the parkway as is.
I'd like to make a motion to restripe Osage Beach Parkway as is.
All right, we have motions, there a second?
I'll second.
Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
there you go.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, next we have notices given that the agenda includes a roll call vote to close the meeting as allowed by our Resmo Section 610.021, legal actions, causes of action, litigation involving a public governmental body, and any confidential or privileged communications between a public governmental body and its representatives and its attorneys. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
Motion.
Alderman Rucker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Barella? Alderman Collins?
All right, general meeting is closed and move into executive session.